If someone should ask you what's the difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, I'd ask them what they're smoking and why don't they share it. But there's probably a good chance that if they ask that question, they used to work at a carnival or they're in the Trump White House. But I'll play along. Trump is a sociopath, and sociopaths are incapable of three things: empathy, self-deprecation, and deflecting criticism in a healthy and mature way. Take hecklers. When someone heckles Trump, he loses whatever is left in his orange head.
And you know what? The audience swung back. And I thought it was very, very appropriate. The audience hit back. And that's what we need a little bit more of.
But compare that to Kamala Harris.
And again, we're not going to be gaslighted on this. We remember Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
See what I'm talking about? What you just witnessed is very important. Why? Because the President of the United States is a shitty job, and the person in that position must be able to field often hostile questions and demands for solutions without freaking out.
No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
And Trump ain't that guy. Tiny Fingers has a long history of attacking people, but a zero history of reaching out. Compare the two.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. Because they can't let that happen.
Whereas when Harris was grilled on why people voted for Trump and pushed to call them stupid.
I know, but
it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid?
She, not surprisingly, went the other way.
What is it? I would never say that about the American people.
Look, the thing you need to know about Harris is she's been on point her whole professional life as a prosecutor, attorney general, a U.S. senator, and vice president. She's a professional's professional. Trump had a reality show and bankrupted 2 casinos. And here's the real difference, and it speaks to the root of who they are. Harris married a man and adopted his kids as her own and loved and nurtured them. Even her husband's ex-wife supports her. Trump had 3 wives, cheated on 2 of them, one with a porn star, while his wife was breastfeeding, then buried the first one on a golf course. And I'm just getting started.
We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Trump's mental illness is on full display every day, and he will attack anyone who doesn't show full loyalty. His trail is littered with the absolute worst behavior and statements that would, under normal circumstances, have banned him from ever holding office. But
the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Injection inside.
By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley is in charge of security.
Like you'll go person, woman.
He had dinner with a Holocaust denier at Mar-a-Lago, have repeatedly claimed that immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, have stolen and eaten people's pets. A baseless, some would say racist accusation that's been debunked by Ohio's Republican governor, Springfield's Republican mayor, and Springfield's Republican city manager. Donald Trump has serious cognitive mental health memory issues. He's perpetually confused and incoherent. He confused Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. He confused Barack Obama with Joe Biden. He confused recently in the debate Virginia with West Virginia. He called Tim Cook Tim Apple. He rants and raves about shark attacks and Hannibal Lecter. He even madly claimed that the photos of crowds at Kamala Harris rallies are AI generated.
something happened to our country, and now Trump represents that shift.
But I am not unpopular.
And that's no compliment.
No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Trump will turn his back on his party, his friends, his allies, and as we know, even and especially his family.
To Trump, all you have to do to prove I'm lying right now, drop your pants.
Kamala Harris, on the other hand, has worked in the public service her whole life, eschewing higher paying jobs in the private sector. In 1990, Harris was hired as a deputy district attorney. Then she was recruited as an assistant district attorney, and soon thereafter she became the chief of the Career Criminal Division, where she supervised 5 other attorneys, and she prosecuted homicide, burglary, and sexual assault cases, particularly 3-strike cases. She also ran the Family and Children's Services Division, representing child abuse and neglect cases. Harris then ran for district attorney of San Francisco and won the election with 56% of the vote, then ran unopposed for a second term. Within the first 6 months of taking office, Harris cleared 27 of the 74 backlogged homicide cases. She also pushed for higher bail for criminal defendants involved in gun-related crimes, arguing that historically low bail encouraged outsiders to commit crimes in San Francisco. San Francisco police credited Harris with tightening the loopholes defendants had used in the past.
I don't know what I said.
Trump, on the other hand, has 6 bankruptcies, 91 indictments, 34 felony convictions for which he is awaiting sentencing, a $100 million judgment for rape and defamation, a $500 million judgment for fraud, and 15 pending cases of sexual assault. But the real difference between Trump and Kamala Harris is one is a patriot and the other a clear and present danger.
I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
As Trump resorts to calling names, Harris beckons Republicans into her camp and extols the virtues of our Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Trump, on the other hand, wants to destroy the Constitution.
Trump recorded a video expressing solidarity with the mob that attacked the Capitol on January 6th. He did that earlier this week. And then on Saturday, seemingly out of nowhere, called for the suspension of the Constitution as yet another attempt to overturn the 2020 election.
Tiny Fingers tried to overturn an election that he lost and did not allow for a peaceful transition.
Let's have trial by combat.
Trump tried to overturn an election that he lost and for the first time in our history did not allow a peaceful transition. And possibly the most disturbing part is that Trump petitioned the Supreme Court for immunity for the most vile and reprehensible actions one can have in a free society, to murder your political opponent.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could.
Ultimately, the difference between these two is simple. Harris, along with more than 100 elected Republicans, have put party politics aside and called for a return to the democratic principles these men placed in our hands for safekeeping 250 years ago.
And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem.
Ooh, and you don't want anything that's been in his hands.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Tick-tock, mother.
This is not a normal election.
Damn right.
Yes!
That is crazy.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
They're eating the dogs.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock,
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.